They didn't just abandon her, they erased her. Zura, once the fierce daughter of a galactic war general, was left paralyzed, discarded, and forgotten by her entire species. A living reminder of a past they wanted to bury. She waited for the day anyone would look at her without disgust. Then a human arrived. Not a hero, not a chosen one. Just a man who refused to walk past suffering. And the moment he took her hand, her story stopped being a tragedy and became a resurrection. If stories like this spark something in you, hope, curiosity, even a little fire, go ahead and hit like. And if you want more powerful HFY Sci-Fi tales every week, make sure to subscribe. And hey, if you know someone who loves stories where humanity refuses to look away, share this with them. It helps the channel more than you think. They kept her in a room barely wide enough for her charcoal walls. No sunlight and no footsteps except the guards who passed by to joke that she was already dead. Zura didn't answer. She couldn't fight. She couldn't walk. And in a culture where strength meant everything, weakness made her invisible, or worse, disposable. She used to be royalty, a general's daughter, a prodigy. Now she was a burden the Zorak Empire wanted to hide like a stain. So when the council summoned the human ambassador, she expected nothing. She expected the same disgust, the same silence, maybe even laughter. But then she heard footsteps steady, heavier than Zorak boots. A shadow filled her doorway, a human. Jack Calder scanned the room, confusion shifting into anger as he realized what gift they were offering him. Zura didn't lift her head. She braced herself for another humiliation, another cruel joke at her expense. But instead of ignoring her, he knelt. "What's your name?" he asked gently. No one had asked her that in years. A voice cracked as she whispered, "Zura," and in that tiny moment, barely a breath long, something warmed inside her chest. Not hope, not yet. Just possibility. Zura expected chains. Maybe orders. Maybe the cold indifference she had learned to live with. But when Jack brought her aboard his ship, he didn't drag her, he guided her. Slowly, carefully, like someone handling something fragile but precious. Her room wasn't a cell, it was warm. Soft lights, a window that opened to an ocean of stars. A bed that didn't feel like stone. She stared at it all in disbelief, as if the entire space was some trick. "You can rest here," Jack said. "No guards." "No cages," Zura frowned. "Why?" He shrugged. "Because you deserve to be treated like a person," that sentence. Hit her harder than any weapon. She didn't respond. She didn't know how to. Days passed quietly. She spoke little, barely more than a whisper at a time. She watched the stars more than she watched him. Jack never pushed, never asked her to cheer up, never demanded gratitude. He simply cooked, fixed things, talked softly, even if she didn't answer. Every night he read stories aloud. Old Earth tales. Sometimes she drifted to sleep with the sound of his voice echoing faintly through the ship, and slowly, almost invisibly, the frozen parts of her heart began to thaw. Not fully, not yet, but enough to feel the warmth. Jack always sensed there was something unspoken beneath Zura's silence, something sharp, something proud, something waiting. He saw it in the way she studied every corridor, every control panel, every movement he made. Her mind wasn't weak. It was alert, trained, wounded, not broken. One afternoon, while cleaning a storage crate, Jack found a black stone military badge carved with a claw-shaped mark. When Zura saw it, her entire body froze. Her voice trembled as she whispered, "Where did you find that?" That night, she knocked on his door. "I was someone once," she said, almost defensively, as if expecting disbelief. Jack didn't interrupt. He simply nodded, inviting her to speak. Zura told him everything: her father's rank, her own early rise through the Zorak military, the wars she helped command, the battles she survived. She had been brilliant, respected, feared, until sabotage shattered her ship and crushed her legs. Her people didn't rescue her. They erased her. Not to make you fight, he said. Just to help you stand. Zura didn't believe she could, not truly. But one night, long after Jack had fallen asleep, she rolled into the workshop and stared at the half-built frame. Her fingers brushed the metal, heavy, cold, waiting. Be strong for yourself. She heard Jack's voice echo in her memory. So she tried. The first attempt ended in a crash so loud Jack sprinted into the room, half-dressed, heart-pounding. She lay on the floor, shaking not from pain but shame. I thought I could do it, she whispered. Jack knelt beside her. You did? You stood. Those words hit deeper than any insult ever had. The next attempts were better, then better again. Until one evening, Zura walked shaky, slow, but real across the room. Tears blurred her vision. Jack clapped like a child. She laughed despite herself. That small victory came just in time. Because the galaxy hadn't forgotten her after all, an alarm blared. A Zorak warship locked onto their position. They weren't coming to talk. The Zorak warship docked with a metallic roar. Soldiers stormed aboard armored, convinced they'd find a helpless exile. Instead, they found Zura standing tall in her exo-frame, eyes burning like the forge of a star. You were meant to stay forgotten, Commander Traz hissed through the coms. Zura stepped forward. You abandoned me. Now you fear me. The battle was fast, brutal. Jack covered the left flank. Zura crushed the right. When the last soldier fell, the commander's voice shook with fury. Return to face judgment. I will, she answered. But not as your victim. The next day, before the full council and a watching galaxy, Zura walked into the arena, no longer the discarded girl, but a warrior reborn. Traz challenged her, expecting weakness. Instead, she dismantled him with clean, controlled strikes. No rage, no hesitation, only precision. And when she stood over him, victorious, she lowered her hand. I don't need to kill you, she said. I already reclaimed what you stole, the council restored her name. Her honor, her history. That night, back aboard the ship, Zura set aside her exo-frame and stood with simple braces. She leaned close to Jack. You didn't save me, she whispered. You reminded me I was never broken, and together, they left the galaxy that once tried to bury her toward a future she chose.